So if we're asked which elevation is higher, negative 15 feet or negative 20 feet. So if we're looking at elevation, we know we're talking about a number line. If we want it horizontally, we could choose it that way, or we could have a vertical number line. In this case here, our number line elevation or sea level is going to be at 0. Now if we wanted to plot negative 15, again we're counting up as we go down, we would land negative 15 right here. Then negative 20 would be right below it. So if we're talking about elevation, the higher number on the number line would be negative 15, meaning that that is a higher elevation. Also, if we're doing a horizontal number line, and we have 0 here, we would end up having negative 15 on this side, and negative 20 behind that. And the farther right we go, the higher the value, therefore that the elevation is higher at negative 15 feet. Now, writing an inequality to express the relationship between negative 15 and negative 20. So if we have negative 15 and negative 20 and we want to express it in an inequality, we just have to write both of these numbers and say, okay, hey, which one is a greater value? And aim our inequality sign at that one. So in this case here, we've already done that because we were seeing which elevation is higher. We know negative 15 is a greater value than negative 20. So our inequality should be negative 15 is greater than negative 20. Also, you could write negative 20 is less than negative 15. Either one works. When we're writing an inequality that shows the elevations E that are higher than negative 15 feet, now we're no longer comparing negative 15 and negative 20. We're comparing E and negative 15 feet. So in this case here, one side should have our variable e and one side should have our constant of negative 15. Now, again, we want the inequality to show elevations that are higher than negative 15 feet. So what we can do is we can take any value that's higher than negative 15. So if we wanted to, we could put in 0 here for e. If we put in 0, is 0 greater than or less than negative 15? It's greater than. Therefore, we no longer need 0 here. We just know that E, elevation, is going to be greater than negative 15. Now, a key point to remember here is that I'm asking for elevations that are higher than negative 15. Negative 15 is not higher than negative 15, therefore it's not greater than or equal to, it's just greater than. Now, if we're graphing that here, if we wanted to place, say we had 0 here, and negative 15 on this side here. Now we need to graph this. So we can graph it using this inequality that we've already written, which makes it really easy because we know that if it's a greater than or a less than symbol, then we're going to put the point at negative 15 because that's our number here, and it's going to be an open circle as opposed to a closed circle because we have e is greater than negative 15. If it was e is greater than or equal to, that's when we would put a dot on 15, but instead we're putting an open circle here instead. Now we're asked to graph all the elevations that are higher. So again, we just pick a number that's higher than negative 15. And again, we know that 0 is going to be higher, so we draw our arrow pointing the direction towards 0. Because any of these values, so on and so forth forever, are going to be greater than negative 15. So now let's do it all over again. Which elevation is higher, negative 6 or negative 10? So if we have our number line here, we have negative 6 here and negative 10 here. We know that negative 6 is farther to the right, which means it is a greater value. So negative 6 feet is a higher elevation. Writing an inequality to express a relationship, we have negative 6 and negative 10. So since we are comparing those two numbers, we now just need to place an inequality sign there, and we already said that negative 6 is a greater value than negative 10. Now writing an inequality showing the elevation E that are higher than negative 6 feet. So in this case here we have E is higher than or greater than negative 6. And then lastly we need to graph this. So again, if we have 0 on this side here and negative 6 over here, since it's a greater than symbol, we are having an open circle, and e is always greater than negative 6, and all of the values that are greater than 6 Negative 6 are on the right side, therefore our arrow should be pointing to the right.